When our core wounds meet the physical world, it offers us the opportunity to heal from the trauma and the emotional wear and tear we have endured in this lifetime. How many core wounds are there to heal? In this podcast series, we will talk about them all, healing the emotional core wounding, including the mother wound, the primal wound, so we can walk in our medicine to be the healers that we all are. Join podcast host, confidence coach Susan Axelrod with her very special guest, Kornelia Stephanie. This podcast is one for the ages, living beyond the core wounds. Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of this amazing podcast series. And I want to let you know, I'm saying that because not only am I doing the work, the research, the commitment, the output to record them, but I'm also listening to them. In my business development, I teach that you better be watching your videos, listening to what you put out so that you can grow and, make sure that you're on point and you can always do it better. And so every episode I have listened to at least once, some more than once. And honestly, each one I'm amazed. This episode, we are continuing the discussion of the wound victim savior. And I want to tell you this. I am not powerless here. I'm not powerless here. These words came up in our last episode. We're going to discuss them again. And they are words that changed my life, even though I didn't say them for myself in that exact way. I learned those from Kornelia. But coming out of feeling like everything was happening to me into I'm in charge, I'm in control, is what started bringing me out of the victim savior wound. Hello, Kornelia. Welcome to this episode. Very excited about this important conversation today.
I just want to thank you again for being who it is that you are. Such a beautiful soul in that you are always willing to look at your own shit and look and see what it is that that you've hidden from yourself, or what is hidden basically in the shadow. And you really are so much fun to be with, to know, to work with, to collaborate with. I'm so grateful that you're here on planet Earth, working for Team Earth as we are living beyond the core wounds, co-creating our new Earth together. Thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast and asking for this work to come out. What you said last about you don't know, if this is just for you and me or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I just want to tell you that, Susan, it's not just for you and me, because it is being recorded into the Akashic records of the work that you and I are doing, because it is being spoken out. And it is, you said it, it is a podcast for the ages. So this particular work can be taken to any planet at any point in time, because we're talking about the truth. We're talking about being in our true integrity of our, divine birthrights. And so now it's time for us to really take the helm, and co-create our new Earth together, most especially over these next 3 years. Spirit showed me just recently, end of January, beginning February, that to shift my perception the way that I normally would hold a year. And basically, the way I normally would approach a year is I would look at, okay, so beginning on the spring equinox, it's March, the spring equinox. And now from spring equinox to the next spring equinox, that's the beginning of the year. And then I would come up with as many goals as I possibly can to achieve in this particular year. And I would try to attain them, right? Well, Spirit showed me that is not, first of all, that is not our walk anymore of the linear way. It's not planning from point A to point B, and that this is all the things you're going to do in this year, and you're going to have it all figured out, and it's all clear. That's not how we're doing things. That we're getting it in small, incremental, bite-sized pieces because we are coming more and more and more online to who it is that we truly are with our superpowers, our intuitive powers, our the gifts that we've hidden from ourselves over the course of these lifetimes that we've been incarnating here on planet Earth. And so we're talking about the victim energy, the savior energy, and the opposite energy of that, the core wound, victim, savior, because the victim is always waiting or was always waiting for somebody else to come in and fix it, and for someone to come in and take the pain away, or for someone to come in and save the day. Uh, Even in the religions that are taught today, many are still putting on their reader boards outside, Jesus is coming back, these kinds of things. And so it is really the time now in our evolution for us to take our personal power back. And so coming back to that 3-year message that I'm talking about is for the next 3 years, 2023, 2024, 2025. It is this window now that we are in earnest beginning to build our new earth structures. So, and we're not going to get it all done this year because a lot of the things that we're doing this year is things falling apart, demolition, destroying things that are not sustaining us in the new earth, all those things that are not in alignment with our authentic nature and that's nourishing and sustaining us. Those things have to go, and they are going to go. They're all going to fall. What's important to know with this is that we're not victims, that we're
Mm.
creators, that we got this. We came here now to remember who it is that we are, and we came here to uh, you know make peace with the past, to make peace with the past of all the things that we've done, all the roles that we've played, all the stories that we've told, everything in our past. It's all completely, um, we're done with it. We are now embarking on a brand new journey as advanced human beings that are living beyond the core wounds of not being victims, and that are not living in our traumas. Now, if we still have trauma, if you still have trauma, it doesn't mean that that's not yours to clear and release and let go. It is. It is. Those of us that have been clearing for the last few decades of doing this deep, deep inner work, integrating the shadow, clearing the trauma, releasing the traumas, releasing the core wounds. We are showing you what's possible now. Of this is what it looks like living beyond the core wounds.
Well, what's interesting about this, what's interesting about this is in my new self, the way I am, that people know me today, anybody who has met me in the last few to several years has no idea that I lived quite a lot in victim in my earlier years. And so, on the one hand, you say, we're clearing the shadow, we're working on this, and we're showing you that it can be done. But as you said that, it jumped out at me like people have no idea how much in my, let's call it, well, adult life, mid 20s to 30s to 40, I lived in blaming others, right? In victimhood, we are waiting for others to fix things for us. And we blame others for things happening to us. And or as a savior, you're constantly wanting to fix things for others, right? So you're constantly outside of yourself. I want to fix that and that and that for all the people around me. And as long as you're doing that, you actually stay victim inside because you think you have to be doing those things as a savior. And so I would like to say that you and I have kind of incredible personal journeys that anybody who doesn't really know our stories wouldn't imagine that we could so authentically be sitting here today having this conversation about how we've healed victimhood. So I think that is an important point to make here.
Yeah, I think that was a great point that you made. A lot of women, they're looking for men to come in. When I have this man, when I have my husband, when I have this, then things will be better. But the bottom line is that you already have everything you need inside. You're just putting your energy outside of yourself again, looking for someone to come in and save you, someone to come in and fix it when you already have everything that you need right now. Doesn't mean that you're not going to ask for help and receive support from your inner circle or people that are here to support you, but but when you come from a place of I am empowered, I got this, I'm going to do this, I am going to crush it, where most people when they're in victimhood are not going to say I'm going to crush it. They're not going to say that, right? But think about it. We talked about this before, that in with all the different religions that are out there, that we have been taught to look for God, for source, for Jesus outside of yourself, outside, when all along it has been within you. And that is also part of our claiming our empowerment, is to remember that it has always been within. It's just that we've hidden it from ourselves, and we've believed the programming from societal conditioning when they told us this is how it is. But an empowered person that has a connection and that is doing that inner work knows that you don't have to look outside of yourself, because you already are connected to source.
I just want to say it's coming up like it's like coming up, Cornelia, about if it's hard to admit. I don't want to admit it, but of course that's what we're doing here. It's such big energy for me. In our last episode, I used the example of how I was victim to time. I used to complain, oh, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I don't have time. In this case, it was the gym. This is an example that's very important because I was very unhealthy. To look at me today, people wouldn't imagine that I was, well, right now I was 35 pounds heavier than I am now. I'm a kind of big person, so it's not like I was ever in what other people would call obese, but I was a full on 35 pounds heavier than I am now. I was totally stationary. I didn't do the walking. People know me. I walk. I didn't walk. I didn't go to the gym. I was very sedentary. I didn't eat well. I still love my potato chips, but I sat on the couch and I ate them. Like if you work out, you can eat more potato chips. But I could feel the energy listening to you, what you were just saying. When you said, I am empowered, I'm going to crush this. And then you said you have everything in you that you need. I was like, I felt that energy of not believing you from my old energy. Today, I have worked with you. We're in this conversation. You said what you said about me in the beginning because you know me, because you're working with me. I've hired you to do this work. This is why I wanted to, have this, a podcast conversation. But it came up because I feel like perhaps our listeners and viewers, Cornelia, are in the energy of not believing you, not believing what you are saying. Well, I can't really have everything. I don't really have the power. I don't really have that control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so that's again the mental program of the human condition, the mental program of the human condition that says I don't believe that this is possible, right? And so then if that's the case, and if you're working with me, and if you're going to honestly tell me I don't believe you, then I will show you how very easy it is to change a belief. Then I will show you how to do that. if that is the case for you. I don't believe you, because how do we change our belief system? We talked about this earlier, is that we're here to make everything unconscious conscious.
Conscious,
And
right?
whatever our belief system is, we create based on what we believe. So if you don't believe me, then I guess the first work of order is for us to look at what your belief is, so that then we can change that belief into something that's more true for you today. And because maybe the belief of, I don't believe you, Cornelia, I don't believe what you're saying, is a belief that's buried in the subconscious from your childhood, that is now coming up through this conversation to be investigated, and to, because when that belief was originally installed, it was when you were a young child between the ages of 0 and 7, and that belief became installed for whatever reason.
And
And
I've done this. I know that you can help a person, go in, see, and change a belief system. I've done this work with you, but I wanted to just clarify and say what was coming up for me was not, I did say, I don't believe you, but what I meant was like, I don't believe that I can I don't believe that I can have the control. I don't believe that I can like suspicious, and even that is the exact nature of victimhood.
well, and then, so then I'm going to ask you, then maybe it's what your parents believed, because that's where the belief most likely came from
Mm.
during the evolution of that time. Not to be judged, because on an evolutionary scale, where our parents were, our ancestors were at that time, that's what they were working with. And at that time, we weren't in these awakening frequencies like we are today. It's different today than it was when you were young, when you were a young child, where your parents or your teachers or your religion, your church or whatever, was saying to you that you don't have any power. You're not, you can't change the world. You can't do this. You can't do that. I know that those were my beliefs. Like my mom always said to me when I was a young child, you can't change the world. And I'm glad that I rebelled against that, because I did change my world. I did change
Yes.
the energy. And I'm co-creating the new one, because I want to tell you something that's really, really important for all of you to hear right now, and that is this. We, the ones that are now beginning this next journey of 23, 24, 25, are now building in earnest the new earth architecture structures of our new earth. And so we are the original ones. We are the original ones. And we're not going to do it from a place of victimhood. We're doing it from a place of empowerment. We're doing it because we can and we must. And we're not sitting on the fence here, passively, aggressively bypassing. No, we're here now to build and co create our new earth, and to set up this first phase of putting down the blueprints. For a long time, I've told my friend Marianne, since a long time ago, I've told her, I said, we are the original architects of the new earth. We are. And it is through our unfolding by asking, what's next? What's next? What's next? That's the reason why we don't have it all planned out. We don't know what is all going to happen by the end of the year. We didn't know what was happening with COVID. We didn't know all of the things. But through all of that, we we still claimed our empowerment. We still um, did our core wound healing. We still moved on with uh, our love, the love that we have, our core values. We still moved on with all of these things. So now, with so many things that are changing out there, what will we do? Like I said to you many times before, what will we do with that energy? And we have to remember the one thing, and that is, it's not happening to us, it's happening for us, so that we can really claim back all of our power, and that we can co create our new earth the way that it was originally intended. And so in the last podcast, I shared one mantra that has served me over the years, and I've given it to many, many people. And I'm going to give it to you now. You can write it down. And basically, anytime that you feel like you feel powerless, anytime that you feel like you are feeling victimized by life, by the government, by whatever the situation is, and you really want to claim your power, I also said that sometimes it's really a good idea to go in and dive in and really feel what it feels like to be a victim.
Mm.
Be a victim of your circumstance, to really dive in and feel what it feels like, and sing the song of woe is me, woe is me, and do that for like a couple of days to really be sitting in the victim boat. And that means that don't do anything, just sit in there and feel what it feels like not to be able to take action and claim your power. There is value in doing that, because you're going to get so sick and tired of feeling that you can't wait to jump out of the boat. You can't wait to jump out. So that's one way to heal the victim and really release it and let it go. And then, of course, it is through, you're triggered by an event. And I will give you here the mantra here in just a second, but I just want to share that, from the book, Peace, the Flip Side to Anger, how I healed my body and my life with the power of my emotions, and how you can too. But in the book, I talk about how every event is neutral. That's actually your natural state. If you get triggered, it's always an issue from the past that arises to be addressed, first felt, and then acknowledged. This is part of an old wound that is crying out for you to love it and let it go. How would that show up in your reality? An event takes place in your life and you get triggered emotionally, finding yourself in the middle of a meltdown. Your first reaction is to lash out or blame the situation or the other person. However, viewed from a different perspective, what took place is your opportunity to clear emotional baggage from the past. Let's say you applied for a dream job, one that you wanted more than anything. You went all out to get it. You had your heart set on it. The interview process went well, and they told you that you had made the short list. Then the next day, you received the email informing you that they had chosen someone else. Breaking down in tears, you have an emotional release. You begin to question yourself, your abilities, and you come to the conclusion that you're just not good enough and nothing ever works out for you. And these are all belief systems, right? The feeling of not being good enough or not qualified enough triggers in you the core wound of feeling unworthy. But that's also feeling a victim.
Victim. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I cannot say how much I want people to understand the basis of what we're saying. And then we're going to go to your mantra. The basis of what we're saying is the language of waiting for someone else, the church, the government, your husband, your wife, your somebody else, your boss, to fix something for me. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't do anything. It is what it is. Oh, don't get me started on that one, Kornelia. Don't say those words to me. No, it is what it is. To me, actually, Kornelia, we've never talked about this, but it is what it is. Is that not the basis of victimhood?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
I mean, everybody who knows me knows I have temper tantrums, just like you just said in your thing. I have inner temper tantrums. When I hear somebody say it is what it is, I have a freak out inside. Now, sometimes I'll be really obnoxious and say out loud to the person. Sometimes I do that, but usually I say to my self, it's not, it is what it is. It is what I create.
Yeah.
And that is moving to empowered creator from, oh, it is what it is, victimhood.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, empowered creator is a person that has personal agency, like you like to call it. It is a person that is self-empowered. And remember, we're not talking about you using your power over other people, only claiming your power in the present moment in your own life. That's all. That's all. It's not, powering over. It's not using your power, for what's happening in the world. That might be the case, because you might go and you might apply to be mayor or do this or do that, right? That might be the case. But we're talking about personal power, really
Right.
being in your personal power. And that's what we're talking about here. So one of the mantras is this: whenever you're feeling victimized and you're in a situation where you feel powerless, where you feel like a victim, where you feel like, I wish somebody would just come in and save the day and fix this and make this go away, that is the perfect opportunity for you to claim your power. So one of the things that I'm doing when that happens is, the mantra is this: I speak it out loud so my throat can hear me, my physical body can hear me, and the universe can hear me. I claim back all of my power, all that I lost, all that I've given away in any time, space, or dimension. I claim back all of my power as it was, as it is, and as it shall be. And I'm also making this movement. And this movement is making these hand movements of really calling the energy back to me. The places where I left my power and I didn't say anything. The places where I just, put a blind eye and didn't say anything there. The unconscious places where I left my power that I didn't even realize that I did. I'm claiming it all back to me now.
So let me tell our listeners that Kornelia, the movement she's referring to is what I'm about to describe. You put your hand out with your hand open, you grab something and you pull it in. You put your other hand out, you grab something and you pull it in. Hand out, grab something and pull it in. You're claiming my power. I claim back all of my power. And so that's the movement that she's talking about, which actually is a Qigong movement where you can actually grab the threads, you grab the power in. And so I love this. I wrote down the words. Of course, everybody knows I take my notes, and I was writing down the words to make sure I actually got them in the way that you said that. I claim back all of my power, all that I lost, all that I gave away in any time, space, or dimension. I claim back all of my power now, as it was, as it is, as it shall be. While you're doing this movement of literally taking your physical hand and claiming, grabbing in your power. This is so, I just love this. And I'm sorry, I had a little temper tantrum there about that expression. It is what it is, but it really is the basis of,
is that Cooper? What's Cooper? Is Cooper recognizing there's somebody else in the house?
Exactly. So we have a dog recognizing the power of what we're saying. Kornelia, this idea of waiting for somebody. I'm just going to say this. We just have another minute or two, but Kornelia, I wasn't sure if I was going to say this, but I am going to say it now. I had a conversation with someone close to me, and I'm not going to say who it is. And also, I'm so blessed and graced with many people who are close to me. But this person is it is what it is.
Oh,
This happened, this in quote, like this thing happened in the past. I can't change it. It's affecting me deeply. The person did not use the word traumatized, but I could feel the trauma of this thing that happened in the past, in the recent past, and they haven't been able to get past it. It perseverates a little on the mind. And I don't think when I'm in these conversations, Kornelia, in terms of these core wounds yet, because I'm not as experienced with that parlance as you are. But now I realize there is victimization in this conversation that I just had, whereby, well, it is what it is. I can't change that. There's no belief system. You just spoke to us about belief systems. There's no belief system that you could do anything to change anything that happened, even though I I did lovingly say, well, actually, but the person, is just not able to hear that. And when you stay in this victim mentality, everything is out of your control. I can't do anything about it. Like, I'm looking at my notes, like I have 4 pages of notes from all these conversations that we've been having. This happened to me. There's nothing I can do about it. This is what Cornelia means about being an empowered creator of yourself, that you do actually get to choose to take your hand, pull it in, claim in my power for how I want to feel right now in this moment, how I want to be right now in this moment. And what Cornelia talks about, the new earth going forward, is how we want to be. I wrote down 2023, 24, 25, non-linear. We're not in the linear any longer. We're in the non-linear, and that's what all of this is about. So, Cornelia, we're going to have to come to a close now, but we're going to have another discussion on this. We're going to talk about passive-aggressive behavior and other things, because I say this every time now. I'm hearing myself say it. I feel like this core wound is a big one. So we said that about shame. They're all big, but there's a lot more to say on this. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to, have support while they're working through some of these things?
If anybody wants to work through their core wounds or release the core wounds from their past, or have I will show you how to do it. Best way to get in contact with me is call me on the phone, 360-941-5783, and let's have a chat and see what exactly it is that you need and want. A lot of people sit on the fence, and we're still using our phones nowadays to call people. So you can also go to my website at korneliastephanie.com. There's places there where I do personal sessions. But you can text me, you can call me, use the phone, use this time right now to really release and let go of everything in your life that's no longer uh, true for who it is that you are becoming, and make peace with your past. And so, you are a powerful creator being that is here to create magnificent works of whatever wants to be expressed through you. However that is going to unfold, but that's what you're here to do. And to really remember yourself, to self-realize, to self-actualize, to honor yourself. You're here for that. So you can also download the KS Media Group app in your app store, in your Play Store. You can message me through there or on social media. So thank you so much, Susan. And I look so forward to continuing on the victim savior conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Self-realize, self-actualize, self-aware.
Yeah.
Friends, be in your own self-awareness. Listen to this episode again. Listen to the language that we're using. Listen to the quotes that we're saying. When you realize that you're waiting for others to fix things for you, or that you're trying to fix things for everyone else, it is in your control. It is in your power. Okay, friend, as always, thank you so much for this. Love these conversations, and I'll see you next time. Take care.